Now I think it's on.
Thank you. Sorry.
Couple of questions. Carol Harvey. Did you say a moment ago, or did anyone say that this material was stored in building 570? Is that where you're storing it?
96.
So George mentioned a different building, 96. So these are two different contractors, Carol.
Okay, so where's building 96? Where's it located? Could you do that again? Please?
Right there.
What is near Avenue M? Where is that? Can't tell from that map.
6th Street. That's a long narrow building on 6th Street.
Okay. All right. Second question. Last time we were talking about the number of dust monitors, and I think you said there were 6 for the island. Is that still true?
No, we realized that in June when we presented this, the number 6 stuck with everybody.
Yep, that's right.
And that's why I tried to clarify in today's presentation that there are 6 locations. Okay, so there's 3 solid waste disposal areas, 2 sorting areas, which is Bigelow Court and Site 32, and then we have a clean backfill area, which is building 570. So those are our 6 distinct locations. We realized the confusion after our last meeting, so that's why I brought that back into today's presentation.
So how many dust monitors are there on the island total?
Okay, Carol, we're going to go through. We went through this on the slides.
You have 6. You have 6 sites. 6
yeah.
places.
So there are 3, 2 to 4, 3. Depends on the activities in the day, which is what the slide had said. So it depends on the location. It depends on the activity. You could have 2 in one location. You could have 3. You could have 4 in one location. It depends on what day you pick to go out there and observe. So you could, I guess, feasibly, if you're working in 6 locations, which we're not, we're working in, say today, for instance, we're working in 2 locations. You could have 6 times 4.
How many dust monitors does the Navy have available total?
We have as many as we need. There's no cap to how many dust monitors we need.
Then you need a lot of them. I'll just say that. And I won't cap it. You need a lot of them. And you need not to put them between buildings because that cuts down an accurate measurement of the wind. Also, there needs to be a different measurement on this 25 miles an hour and the gusts. I've seen people walk through that wind when it was gusting at 50 and then stopping, and by the time they got to their house a half a mile away, their eyes are completely red. I have a photograph of this, which will probably come out somewhere sometime. My final question is, I want to ask what you're doing. It looks like you've dug a trench that looks like kind of a mini marina between North Point and Bayside. There's kind of an inlet of water in there. What is that?
Sure. So the inlet of water is actually groundwater coming up. We have a shallow groundwater table at Treasure Island, roughly 4 feet. So what you're seeing is an excavation that goes down to 4 feet, possibly below, and you're right at the top of the water table there. So that's why it does look like an inlet, I suppose. Here's a picture. So this is actually groundwater that is coming up through the soil.
It's coming up through the soil, so you haven't dug into that. It's just coming up through the soil?
No, we've dug into that.
Okay. Why did you dig into that?
For all the reasons we explained today. We're trying to remove the debris from the solid waste disposal areas. We are documenting that we've cleaned up all the chemical constituents, which we listed out, that PCBs and PAHs, and we are removing the radiological commodities.
So digging down to 4 feet has caused the water to come up through the groundwater. Do you expect that to recede? Feel free to correct anything that I just said.
I'm trying to look for a geologist here.
Well, you
I mean, I can answer this in a very technical manner or not. The groundwater.
Please, non-technical. Please, for fun.
Well, it's a matter of time. So The groundwater, let's just say it stays at that level. So that groundwater was always at this depth. So if you lived in this building, that groundwater would have always been there.
I see.
Yeah. Right, and so, right, and we have, we're surrounded by the bay, so there's influences from the bay as well. So you may get fluctuations with the tide, but relatively speaking, this is the level of the groundwater. So we just happen to remove the soil.
All right, I got a final question based on your statement there. How deep is the island? How many feet deep does it go? Is there any way of measuring that?
Well, the island is not floating, it's on ground. So
yes, I'm well aware of that. When does it stop being island and start being whatever the heck is under there? How many feet down do you have to go to have it be bay?
And Carol,
We're at sea level now. We're at sea level.
Then I can probably address that. It depends where you are. Generally speaking, the vague knowledge I have regarding how TI was constructed, because it was a long time ago, there was a natural formation here. So the fill material is at varying depths until you get to the original shoal, correct.
Right.
So depending where you go, for Site 12, for example, it's a lot deeper as it slopes down into the bay versus right in the middle of the island.
Okay.
The exact depths.
Can you give me an average number of feet?
Unfortunately, I could. I just don't have that much general knowledge of how it was built. You'd have to go to the construction reports of the history of how it was built. So I don't actually know an average, unfortunately.
Okay, all right. Okay, final thought for the evening. Really, you keep saying your job doesn't extend other than what you're describing here, but I want to remind you what you're doing affects people. This is an ethical environmental project. It has ethical and human rights ramifications. I think it's time that you start recognizing that fact. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next speaker.